There are manuscripts that illuminate, manuscripts that guide, and manuscripts that tempt. The Book of Soyga is none of these. It is something else entirely. It is a book that resists, a book that keeps its knowledge locked away behind walls of symbols and codes, a book that, according to angels themselves, carries danger for anyone bold enough to read it. For centuries, the Book of Soyga lay hidden, misfiled, mislabeled, forgotten. But even in silence, it carried a reputation, for it was once owned by John Dee, one of the greatest minds of the Renaissance, and one of the most dangerous seekers of hidden knowledge. This is the story of a manuscript said to descend from Eden itself, a book that angels confirmed but refused to explain, and a mystery that still lingers today in the guarded vaults of England's most ancient libraries. This is the Book of Soyga. The year is 1564. London bustles with merchants, scholars, and preachers. The old medieval world is fading, but the new world is still uncertain, caught between religion, science, and superstition. And within this shifting age lives a man who embodies the collision of all three, John Dee. Dee is no ordinary courtier. He is a scholar of mathematics, geography, and astronomy. He calculates routes for England's voyages of exploration, his numbers helping guide ships across oceans. He advises Queen Elizabeth I on the stars, using astrology to choose the dates of her coronation. He builds one of the largest libraries in Europe, with thousands of volumes in every field of knowledge. But knowledge, for John Dee, is never enough. He believes that hidden truths lie beyond human reach, that God scattered wisdom across creation, in signs and symbols waiting to be decoded, and that angels themselves still hold the keys to the universe. It is in this quest for divine wisdom that John Dee encounters the Book of Soyga. At first, it looks like a standard magical text of the Renaissance. It contains astrological treatises, invocations, diagrams of the heavens, and instructions for summoning protective forces. It speaks of angels, spirits, and secret correspondences between stars and earthly events. But then Dee turns the pages and finds the tables, page after page, filled with enormous grids of letters. 40 tables in all, each a jumble of seemingly random sequences. Tens of thousands of words, but none that make sense. Not a message, not a prayer, just letters, endless letters. John Dee studies them for years. He tries to find patterns, but they slip away. He tries to compare them with other codes, but they don't match. The book resists him. And so Dee does what any man of his time and his obsession might do. He asks the angels. Through his medium, Edward Kelly, Dee conducts scrying sessions, gazing into polished stones and crystals, waiting for visions and voices. Together, they claim to speak with beings from the other side, angels who reveal words, names, and entire languages. It is through these sessions that Dee records what we now call the Enochian language, a system of letters, sounds, and meanings that the angels insist was the very tongue of Adam, spoken in the Garden of Eden. One day, Dee and Kelly present the Book of Soyga to the angel Uriel. They ask, "What is this book?" And Uriel replies, "The book is holy. It was revealed to Adam in paradise before the fall. But when Adam sinned, the knowledge of the book was taken away. Now, only the archangel Michael can fully understand it." Dee presses further. "What about the tables? What do these endless letters mean?" Uriel does not answer clearly. Instead, he warns Dee. The tables carry danger. To read them wrongly is to invite disaster. To misuse the book is to be destroyed. The warning shakes Dee, but he cannot let go. For in his heart, he believes the Book of Soyga may be the missing key, the hidden cipher of creation itself. John Dee clings to the manuscript until his death in 1608. And then, mysteriously, it vanishes. For centuries, no one knows where it went. Scholars record mentions of it in Dee's writings, but the book itself seems gone, a ghost of a manuscript. And then, in 1994, nearly 400 years later, the Book of Soyga is rediscovered. Not once, but twice. Researchers find one copy in the Bodleian Library of Oxford, another in the British Library in London. All along, the book had been sitting quietly in archives, mislabeled under obscure catalogs. Few had ever bothered to open it, and fewer still realized its connection to John Dee. At last, the Book of Soyga was in the light again. Modern scholars quickly begin examining it. And just as in Dee's day, they are baffled by the tables. In 2006, mathematician Jim Reeds finally cracks the code, at least partially. He demonstrates that the tables are not random at all. They were generated by a precise algorithm, a set of rules transforming letters into new sequences. By reconstructing the method, Reeds shows how the tables were created, but the meaning behind them? That remains elusive. Why would anyone fill hundreds of pages with systematically generated tables? Are they angelic names? Are they invocations in disguise? Or are they traps, ciphers meant to confuse and mislead? The angel's warning echoes across the centuries. The Book of Soyga carries danger. For those who study the occult, the book holds a deeper allure. It ties directly to the Enochian system, the angelic language Dee recorded. Some believe the Book of Soyga and the Enochian tables together form a greater system, a structure of magic capable of reaching across dimensions. Others suspect it is a puzzle deliberately unsolvable, a manuscript designed to demonstrate the limits of human reason. And still others whisper that the danger Uriel spoke of is not metaphorical at all, that the book is cursed, that to stare too long at the tables is to invite visions, distortions, whispers in the night. Not just letters on vellum, but doors waiting to be opened. Today, the Book of Soyga rests quietly in its libraries. The British Library and the Bodleian both preserve their copies, available to scholars by request. But even now, very few attempt to study the tables. They seem endless, repetitive, almost maddening. And yet, they exert a pull, as though in the shifting patterns of letters lies something just out of reach, something waiting to be spoken into meaning. It is easy to forget that for John Dee, the book was not just paper and ink. It was revelation. He believed it was a fragment of Eden, a key to the language of angels. And perhaps, in his obsession, he was not entirely wrong. For the Book of Soyga remains unsolved. Even with algorithms, even with computers, the why is still unanswered. What is this book for? What does it mean? Why was it written at all? The silence of its pages offers no reply. Only a reminder that some knowledge is forever forbidden. The Book of Soyga is not famous like the Voynich manuscript. It does not dazzle with strange plants or bizarre drawings. It is, in many ways, plain. But perhaps that is what makes it more unsettling. Because in its plainness lies a riddle. A book that tells you it is holy. A book that claims to be from Eden. A book that resists even angels. Perhaps, in its stubborn silence, it is more dangerous than any illustrated codex. Because where pictures entice, words command. And where tables of letters stand mute, they may still whisper to the right eyes, the right mind, the right moment. And so, the Book of Soyga remains. Part angelic codex, part mathematical puzzle, part forbidden relic of paradise lost. A manuscript caught between heaven and earth, offering just enough to lure the seeker forward, but never enough to let them arrive. In John Dee's age, the angels said, only Michael himself could read it. In ours, even machines cannot. It is a book without a reader. And perhaps that is how it must remain. You've been listening to the Forbidden Archives. Tonight, we open the Book of Soyga, the Angel's Forbidden Codex. A book from Eden that still refuses to reveal its secrets. The archives are vast, and what waits inside them may be older and more dangerous than we dare to imagine.